Hey, what's up, everyone? Set up here. Okay. So today, pretty tired today. So I thought this stream would be dedicated to going over my matches from Legacy Showcase. I had a pretty good run in the Showcase. I had a 6-2 record, so I got 11th. I had good breakers. One of my losses got 3rd, I think. The other loss was also in the 6-2 bracket. This is the list I played. It's also on Cardboard Live, so you can check that. I actually updated it for once. Don't want to talk about the decklist too much. It's pretty stock for what I've been doing. The one weird thing is I've got a Sting Scourger, a card I somewhat notoriously hate, I think. I wanted to hedge a little bit more in case I ran into either the Reliquary decks. That is the one. Some night decks, Sting Scourger is quite good. It's not very good against Maverick, but it's pretty good against Loam. The Dryad Titan deck, which I ended up facing, but I didn't draw the Sting Scourger, even though I did board. But it was a dead card outside of the situation, so I am in the future going to play a different card in that slot. Sting Scourger is just kind of narrow in the matchups it's actually good in. A couple takeaways I got from the event. I definitely could have played better. I feel like I could have made top 8 with slightly different sideboarding. I think I was a little behind the curve on how Rug Delver is being built right now, and I was focusing a little bit too much on the green cards and Stifles and Oko, more Canadian Thresh style stuff, compared to the current builds that are not really playing Stifle and they're playing 4 Dreadhordes. Spoiler alert, basically I lost to uncontested Dreadhordes both of my losses, though there are obviously other factors at play, and I could have played differently as well. So we're going to look over all the matches, see if there are any cool plays, anything particularly interesting about the games. Oh, I already have. So round 1, I was on the draw. Had that 7, no 1-drop on the draw, basically, is my rule for mulliganing it. It was close, though, because it does have double Wasteland, but wasn't confident in it. This is a pretty decent 6. Throw back the redundant Warchief, and I am gleeful to see turn 1 Spirit Guide, City Trader's Blood Moon. So obviously this is the best matchup imaginable to run into round 1, and for them to lead on a turn 1 Blood Moon is kind of the dream. They don't have more acceleration. They don't have an answer to the Goblin Lackey, so I just go Warchief Matron for Ringleader, and they're just dead. So I get kind of a freebie there in game 1. Everything's working. So obviously freebie game 1, turn 1 Blood Moon, not very good against goblins. Another very reasonable 7 here. They pass. So the Ancient Tomb mocks pass. I draw Skirk Prospector. So my thinking is if they're going turn 1 Tomb, Imprint, Rabble on a Chromox, this screamed Bone Crusher Giant to me. Yeah. So instead of playing turn 1 Lackey, I play turn 1 Prospect. Or sorry, I Wasteland them first, because I am scared of a Karn. If they like Bone Crusher my creature and then play Karn, that would suck. So I was hoping to keep them off a potential 4 mana on their next turn. So I do play the Skirk here. They Bone Crusher it, and I fizzle it. And they also messed up. They messed up pretty big time by not Bone Crushing in the end step. Then I just got to sack the Prospector, fizzle Bone Crusher Giant, and then use the mana because it was in my main phase. The actual worst time to use that Bone Crusher. To play the Lackey, so now I'm just like way ahead. And they did have the Karn. They get Ensnaring Bridge. I don't know if they had Walking Ballista in their sideboard, but if they did, I wonder if they would have gone for it. Another lands, hit them, Matron up an Expert to kill the Karn. I could have waited and gone for Trashmaster, but that's a couple turns away. I can play the Ensnaring Bridge and potentially lock me out, so I just wanted to get the Karn off the table as soon as possible. I am a little low on gas, and I don't have mana denial to make the bridge bad. I might get stuck behind this bridge for a while. These have all soul lands and Chalice on 2. Cavern of Souls goes brrr, you know. They only have one red source, which is relevant, so they can't cast like Chandra. They can't stomp anything anymore. And they have 2 Ancient Tombs that are going to take them pretty low life, so they do nothing. They go for the stomp and are sad. Opponent did not play this super great. They could have just cast a Bone Crusher as a 4/3 and would have been much better off. So, kind of playing through this game, just kind of playing out my stuff. They didn't have red for Fiery Confluence, so I wasn't really going to play around that. More Chalices, they get countered by Chalice. Their Chalice on 2 kind of hosed them. Chainwhirler, I just held. I don't need more pressure on board. If I draw a Shatter, then I can just kill them no matter what, since I have the Piledriver. Second bridge. And then I think I just draw Matron here for Trashmaster. So yeah. Pretty straightforward match. It's a pretty easy matchup. That's how it goes. Round 2. Round 2 is funny. Round 2 is against this really cool Painter brew. And I did not see Painter coming until a little bit late. Opponent's on the play. Again, this hand lacks 1-drop. It doesn't have a Mogg War Marshal to empower these 2 cards. And we only have 1 basic, so skip this. A little bit the same problem, but at least they have a Vial. And they go Mountain Vial, so I'm like, oh god, it's the mirror. It's kind of funny how our hand ends up looking almost exactly the same, except we have a Vial. Bit of an extra land, which is obviously much better. So I'm thinking it's the mirror, and then they play Goblin Engineer. I'm like, okay, this is something. It's Painter, I guess, but I was wondering if they had like other Goblins cards in it. So Mogg War Marshal was a decent draw here. You can't Expert this thing, you can't Gempalm it, so I'm playing out my Mogg War Marshal. But I actually just die. In a pretty crazy sequence they have here. So what I was hoping to do is just Gempalm this, Expert the next thing off the file, and then maybe Wasteland them. So Tomb, oh wow, okay, Moto shot through that a little too fast. So it's Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Violin, Painter Servant, name white, and then weld out the Aether Vial now used for the Grindstone. Activate. Just turn 3 me. Did not see this coming at all. Like, just required 2 pieces of fast mana. Obviously I couldn't have done anything about it regardless, so that was quite a blowout, basically. Well, blowout, is that the right term? I don't know. So on the play here, this hand's great. I was a little worried they had Karn in their deck, but we do have a Needle if we need to Needle a Karn, but Double Vial, Pyrokinesis is one of the best cards against Painter. And since they named white with the Painter Servant, I feel like I thought they might not have black. Do it again. Second land's really nice. So another Vial, and then I just preemptively Needle Grindstone. Don't want to mess around with it too much. Get cute with my Needle names. take my 1. Play Arid Recruiter. Get a Phyrexian Evoker. Makes sense with a double vial in play. I'm like very thankful I have this Munitions Expert and this Pyrokinesis. But I'm really just hoping to find a different red card at this point, so I don't have to pitch the Expert. Draw Cratermaker, which is good but not incredible, because Painter Servant's making everything white. So Cratermaker doesn't work. Cratermaker can never kill a Painter Servant. Not possible. So I vial in my Cratermaker then. So this at least can 1-for-1 here. It's like, okay, I'm gonna draw a red card eventually. I'm gonna take out the Painter while I can. And if they had a removal spell, then I can at least sack the Goblin being killed for mana and then pop the Cratermaker on the Revoker to get my vials active again. Another land, so actually I can hardcast Pyrokinesis if I absolutely have to. Just attack for 1. I think this was a mistake, because now I can't hardcast the Pyrokinesis, but I don't know. It's kind of close. I sideboarded. Let me look at my sideboarding. Okay, so I sideboarded out the Chainwhirler, so because I wasn't really thinking they would have that many X ones, but it turns out they actually have a lot of them. So I boarded. I kind of boarded a little haphazardly because I obviously wasn't really sure. But I definitely boarded in the Pyrokinesis. I boarded in the Needle. So I boarded out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. So it's Pyrokinesis, Needle, Surgical. Last card. Gamble 629. Thanks for the follow. Sideboard real quick. Oh, Trashmaster, of course. Of course. So I thought second Muxus is probably redundant. Ringleader, probably don't need all 3. Chainwhirler, at the time I thought was bad, but I do bring it back in. Piledriver, since they named white, I shaved 1. I thought the chances that I get to cheese them with the Piledriver Progenitus is pretty low, and I'm pretty glad based on how this game played out, I'm pretty happy I did that. And then Sling-Gang, I shaved for red card count, and thinking that life total's not the most relevant thing in this type of matchup. Got a Spell Skite, so weird board lockdown, but I can just chill until I need to use my vials. Sling-Gang, a decent draw, but not a red card. But my opponent's pretty far away from killing me, right? We've got the Needle and the Grindstone. Got a third Imperial Recruiter, so they're grinding me pretty hard. They get a Goblin Welder. I take this block, so it's like, okay, what are they going to do? They play a Blazing Volley. So that kind of sucks. But, you know, I still get to pop something in response. So it's in between the Spell Skite or the trying to go for the Revoker, and then they change the target to the Spell Skite. That could cost them 2 life, but I would rather get the Spell Skite off the table, especially because I have this Pyrokinesis in my hand. So if they didn't redirect it and I killed the Revoker, it'd be kind of bad for me. Basically, you just don't want to give your opponent the option. Like if you unless they're going to make a mistake, you shouldn't give your opponent the option there. Fetch to thin there, draw the 4th land. So just play out my Sling-Gang. Don't really have anything else to do. At this point, just really looking for that red card, hoping they don't have more Blazing Volleys in my future. They are at 12, so play the Welder, play a Seasoned Pyromancer, discard Tanglewire, play a land. That kind of blew my mind. I'm like, oh god, Chainwhirler, why did I sideboard out? Legacy Council, thanks for the host. Welcome everyone, we're looking over my showcase matches. This is round 2, so round 1 was Moon Stompy. And then this is a pretty crazy mono red painter brew. That is very cool. Lackey is the pitch card. I wanted to take out the so the reason I kinesis right there was to keep it from welding out if they did something, I guess that was actually bad logic. Okay. I was thinking about them welding out my needle, but that would require them to kill a vial first, so I could always respond in that case. But this way I get to push a little bit of damage, so it's probably correct anyway. So I'm just trying to push some damage. They can flash back the Seasoned Pyromancer for two 1/1s, and I don't have my Chainwhirler anymore, so that kind of sucks. But with the Vials in 4 and 3, we have pretty live draws at this point. Got 2 Ringleaders, 4 Matrons. That's a Lodestone Golem. Fortunately, does not really do anything on this board state, other than just be a 5/3. We top deck the Ringleader like good Goblins players do. It War Marshal Trashmaster, which is amazing. I can't Trashmaster this turn, but I get to do it my upkeep next turn. So I'm really just trying to, I just have to fade a Revoker, basically. I take the 5. Now I'm pretty confident I win the race. So pay Echo. Draw Warchief, which is obviously very, very good. I think my opponent may have forgotten about their 2 1/1s they could have gotten from the Seasoned Pyromancer. Just attack with everything but the Sling-Gang. They have 0 cards in hand, so this kind of free. So get there in game 2. Drawing the Warchief was very good. Trashmaster off the Ringleader was very good. The War Marshal, so pretty solid sequence of draws for me. Game 3. Seems a little dicey. Muxus is looking a little unimpressive, a little far away. But the Needle's really good to keep me from getting comboed out, and that's what I'm most scared of in this matchup. We have Vial into Mogg War Marshal, or Vial into Needle if we have to. Throw in Welder's a little spooky, but not impossible to beat. Skirk Prospector is such a good draw here. Like this is exactly why Skirk is so much better in the deck than it used to be. Now we can cast Muxus on turn 3. Is pretty insane. They got a Spellskite, which is pretty good. I make a mistake here, I think. Draw Wasteland, doesn't really matter. Well, now I have the 3rd land to cast Muxus next turn. So the plan is cast Muxus next turn. So I forgot that I saw Blazing Volley last game. And so I take a fairly risky line here because they also have removal in their deck. So I try to accelerate a lot. So I play War Marshal, Violence, Skirk, and then cast the Needle. And I believe I Needle Goblin Welder, yeah. So this would really suck against Blazing Volley. Or even if they knew to bolt the Prospector. If I thought they were playing Lightning Bolt, which they are actually. I don't get specifically punished here, but I easily could have been. They get a Cratermaker, presumably for my Needle. I'm like, oh god, please don't kill my Prospectors, please don't kill my Prospector. Draw Surgical. Surgical's okay, so now even if they take out the Needle and the Welder, I can beat it. There's also the fact that if I had just played Needle last turn, Violed and Prospector, and then Vial and War Marshal this turn, I would keep the Skirk in play, which is really relevant when you're doing Muxus hits. So Muxus hits, we've got a new emote thanks to someone in the Goblins Discord. Made me a Muxus emote, so that's part of the tier 1 sub now. So we get pretty sick flip here, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously Trashmaster is one of the best cards possible against Painter, and hitting a Ringleader and a Matron and a War Marshal to go with the Trashmaster is insane. So we just bought him 2 lands, so we hit 4 out of 6. Yeah, Alani, welcome. Thanks for making the emote. So Matron grabs an Expert, so I can take out any potential threats. Get in for some damage. So they do have the Bolt for Trashmaster. So I take out the Spellskite. Still have the Needle and Welder. And I'm thinking that Hey, and Alan with the Twitch Prime sub there. Thank you very much. So I'm like, okay, I don't want my Muxus to get bolted, so I block with the War Marshal rather than with the Muxus. Like Cratermaker, let that go. I don't Violin the Expert. I kind of wanted to disincentivize them from popping my Vial. And I thought, you know, if I Violin Expert, popping either the Cratermaker or the Welder. Well, the Welder, well, it doesn't really matter because I have Surgical and it's Needled. And if I just kill the Cratermaker, they'll probably blow up the Vial. So I just opted to do nothing. I don't know if that's correct, but Wasteland. See what happens. Drop my Warchief. And then swing with the idiots. Let my Muxus trigger go on the stack. Let them go to blocks. I have to chump. Blow up the Needle. I could have... Yeah, I wait here. I have two ways of popping Welder before there's an artifact in play for them to weld away. So Expert the Welder. Wellspring. I don't want them to get Wellspring extra value to like somehow dig out of this, though. This board state seems pretty unassailable. They would have to Painter combo me off pretty limited resources. So I just didn't want them to draw cards, basically. So got there in game 3. So round 3 here. I forget what... Oh, this is against Aspiring Spike on Ant. So I don't know what he's on. I kind of assume... I thought he was like a Snow Control player. Okay, I'm not mulliganing this hand, regardless of matchup. Got turn 1 Lackey. This spooked me. I think I just die on turn 2. Yeah, the Brainstorm after the fetch was like, oh god, Storm. Yep, so yada yada yada, do the Storm things, triple LED, tutor, and Tendrils. So that's game 1. Game 2 is pretty cool, I think. So I keep this hand basically just on the back of Mindbreak Trap. This hand's pretty weak if he Thoughtseizes me first. And the Surgical does disrupt him a little bit as well. Let's go fetch go. Hand trips. Yeah, so Petal Thoughtseize takes the Mind Break, so that was a big bummer. I didn't Mind Break the Thoughtseize. Maybe should have. I thought the 2 life mattered more than him seeing my hand. But knowing about the Surgical matters. I did not consider Mind Breaking Thoughtseize. I probably should have. So it's 2 life versus hand info, basically. Surgical Petal? Nah. But I mean, here I just want to put the pressure on, so Ad Nauseam becomes as bad as possible. Like 15 life in Ant is not. LED, Kernel Tutor for Ad Naus, so he's 1 floating. So there's a consideration of, do you surgical anything here before the Ad Nauseam starts flipping? I don't think it's correct to do so. There's nothing that he can cast immediately. I would not take all the mana rocks here. Definitely not, actually. Because he's at 15 life, he can't go that deep with the Ad Nauseam, and I don't want to generate 2 extra Storm, and I don't want to lose... Like, each of these represents 2 Storm by themselves, so that's 4 extra Storm, basically. Has he played a land yet? Yes. Yeah, he played the Volcanic. I think most of his win conditions from here are going to involve Cabal Ritual and a Past in Flames line. So I'm either going to end up surgicaling Tutor. It goes. So this is kind of a funny game because he said, I talked to him after it, he said he should have gone deeper because he could have won otherwise. So he hits the Tendrils here and he stops. He thinks about it for a long time and he stops. I think, so if I'd surgicaled... Wait, this isn't right. This isn't right. He did not stop. He stopped at 3. Oh, maybe he did. Maybe Moto's right and I'm wrong. The average CMC goes up, yeah. But with 1 black floating, I guess it's hard for him to get red for Past in Flames. Eat the petals and the LEDs. He's already played his land. He can't get red. Okay. I guess that is true. I think he said he checked and his top card was Cabal Ritual. So if he kept going, I think I would have lost. He's 1 black floating. He goes Dark Ritual, 3, Cabal Rit, 5. Tutor can't get anything, so I guess he's still short. Yeah, Tutor wouldn't be usable, so the Tutor doesn't do anything. So I think if he hit Cabal Ritual off the top, he would still have to go another card. He would have to hit another Petal. I don't know. I think double surgicaling. I guess I'd have to surgical on my turn. I'd surgical Petal on my turn, and then surgical LED on his turn. That's a lot of life. If I had surgicaled both mana rocks and he hits a Dark Ritual, a Cabal Ritual, and the Tendrils, I would have lost. Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't surgical the rocks prior to Ad Nauseam. Okay. It just seems really dangerous to do that to, I guess. Yeah, I mean, his deck would be shuffled twice, so the top of the deck would be different. So it's like kind of not. It'd be random. Yeah. But even if his top card was Cabal Ritual, he still has to keep going. And there's no way for me to... Yeah. Okay, maybe I was wrong to not double surgical, but I don't know. Since if he had 0 mana floating, then I would have done it. But with 1 black floating, he just needs like 2 dark rituals. But I do get that he can't produce red if you surgical both. So yeah, in that case, I have the surgical for the tutor, yeah. So, but Warchief Piledriver gets in there. This game is really funny. This game 3 is really sad. This is kind of him drawing all of his sideboard cards and not enough action. I mulligan that 7 that had a Grafdigger's Cage. I think is the worst hate card I have in the Ant matchup, and I don't have a Lackey, so I'd like Piledriver into Warchief, which is okay. But that hand just seems pretty weak when I have a Mindbreak I could find. I have a Chalice. I'm really looking for Chalice. This I reluctantly keep. Relic is decent, and Reb for the first cantrip is also good. No mana denial lands kind of sucks, and he duresses my Relic. I hold up the Reb here. I don't have anything good to put in a playoff Lackey, so I'm like, I just really want to blast the first cantrip. I know Storm, talking to Cyrus, Storm really wants its first cantrip. And Skirk's kind of a funny draw here, is if I sequence it Skirk into Lackey, I can permanently hold up Reb, basically. And I just draw another Lackey. So I've got a modicum of pressure. And I didn't go for Shuffling for Thinning because I already bottomed a land. So it's kind of effectively the same. There's Echoing Truth, Goblin Lackey. I sacrifice it to Skirk Prospector, thinking, you know, maybe I'll draw. I didn't want to spend the Reb on it. I thought he knows about the Reb in my hand, so he's trying to bait the Reb. War Marshal. Just sitting there, so I'm thinking his hand has got to be like Abrupt Decay and a Brainstorm that he really wants to cast but can't yet. I sack on End Step because I think I don't want to pay Echo. Chain of Vapor is my Lackey. I let that go. Yeah, I didn't want to pay Echo. I thought he'd already used an Echoing Truth, so I'm not super worried about the tokens getting swept up. And I thought, you know, if I draw, you know, something real good to put in a playoff Lackey before he Chain of Vapored it, I want to be able to cast like Matron pre-combat without snacking a bunch of board. I'm just holding this land in my hand for a long time, I think. This, I think after it passed, I thought this was wrong, because if he gets rid of the Prospector, then I don't have Rep up anymore. So I should have played the land here. Sack on End Step again. Cratermaker, so it's a clock. And down to 7, so he is dead next turn. So he finally fires off the Brainstorm. That, yes. I knew he had it. And he goes Ponder, Shuffle, and is dead. So it's just we both just drew pretty mediocre hands. Like I drew like pretty crappy threats. He drew some crappy bounce spells. his brainstorm got blasted, and he flooded out, I guess. So not the highest tier magic, but that's what happens sometimes. It's round 4. I'm finally on the play. This is against. I know this guy's on like Loam style decks, Knight decks. Turn 1 Vial. This hand's scary because I don't have a basic. There's a Vial on a Wasteland, so it's kind of hard to mulligan. But yeah, high CMC. Just plays Green Sun for. Second Wasteland's kind of neat. So I'm just really hoping he doesn't have another Green Sun for Collector Oof. So he plays Dryad and has a Wasteland, but he doesn't Wasteland me. So this kind of tells me that he, at this point, I have the read that he has something really expensive in his hand. And it's probably Primeval Titan. Draw a third Wasteland. I'm like, okay, I have this Vial ticking up. He didn't Wasteland me, so his mana obviously matters a lot. The Blast Zone big time sucks. But he doesn't blast on my Vial, which I thought was really. I guess he doesn't want to lose his Reclaimer. But if he had just gone blow up Vial, Reclaimer, and then Wasteland me, I would have been really behind. Play my War Marshal. So now that I got a Vial on 3, I'm less crippled by blowing up the Vial. So he puts it up to 2. I don't know why. I don't know why he put the Blast on 2. So I take out the Ancient Tomb. So I'm like, the last card in his hand has to be Primeval Titan. That's like the only thing that makes sense. I guess again, he doesn't want to lose a land to trying to cast a 6-drop. And I think I make a mistake here. Yeah, I Matron for Gempalm. Yeah. So I thought he might be I thought he was a Chalice deck, basically, because these decks often are Chalice decks. And I get Gempalm, because if I get Munitions Expert, then he's just gonna wasteland my bad lands. Pretty easily, I think. I wasn't playing around a removal spell. So I take my Vial to 4 and Vial in my upkeep. Ringleader. Hit some Gobos. I didn't want to tap out of my Wasteland. So I sacrifice an extra Goblin here to not be tapped out of Wasteland. And this really punishes me. Because he has a Swords to Plowshares. So obviously this is a very good Ringleader, but I do get wrecked by the Swords to Plowshares because now this Dryad doesn't die, which is absolutely massive. I just did not expect Plow out of this deck at all. I thought it was a Chalice deck. It usually is. So only 3 damage on the Dryad. So I think what I should have done is Violin Matron, get Matron, upkeep, Violin Matron again, get Gempalm at that point. So I guess that still wouldn't have played around Plow. It'd be token, Matron. Yeah, it still wouldn't have done it. But play Lackey off the dead Skirk. Can't really attack. He goes Green Sun for 3. I maybe should have wastelanded the Blast Zone there. That was probably a mistake as well, because now he gets double land drop, and now my wastelands are basically useless. So again, Ringleader and upkeep, because I'm going to take this Vial to 5, because I'm trying to get to Muxus. Hit only a Cratermaker, which is pretty rough. And still, I'm just like, please God, draw Munitions Expert. Play my Pashalik Mons. And go go for a swing, because Pashalik is going to ping off some things, and hopefully I can kill him next turn with the Muxus. I'm trying to get his life total pretty low. He crop rots a Wasteland away for Valakut. I Wasteland the Valakut. But I almost die here. This is not a cleanly played game, though I really did not expect that source of plowshares. I could have played around it, though. And I think he miscounts here, because I actually go to 1. So if he had thrown the the Valakut trigger at me, and then swung, oh no, then I'd be able to block. So it'd be the same. Right, because I'd be at 5 with a creature in play. Yeah, okay, it'd be the same. I'm going to 1 no matter what. So I'm like, okay, Muxus, please save me. I'm at 1. There's a Primeval Titan. There's 2 Valakuts. I'm just like super, super dead next turn. And then I hit pretty insane Muxus there. It only hit 3, but most importantly, it hit a Sling-Gang Lt. And I just have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I just have 12 points of burn, and then 2 more off of these guys. So Muxus bailed me out there. Got wrecked by that Swords Plowshares there. Could have played around it by not holding up my Wasteland that turn. I was a little worried about a depths kill possibility, but I was pretty sure he had prime time in his hand, so I should have just played as if that was the case, because that explains only Primeval Titan really explains why my opponent didn't Wasteland me a couple of turns ago, when they could have, like they were trying to build up to something bigger. Game 2 is a lot less interesting. My opponent just has like a pretty weak hand. Obviously, this is a mulligan. Put back the Muxus here. I've got Cratermaker is not amazing this matchup, but I thought, maybe you can take an early Reclaimer. File into Port is hard to mulligan. As far as sideboarding, I should talk about that. I boarded out 2 Lackeys on the draw, 2 Ringleaders, 1 Muxus. I boarded in the Pyrokinesis, the Sting Scourger. Boarded out the Chainwhirler, the Piledriver. I think in the future against this deck, if I don't see black, I'm going to board out the Cratermakers. I think they're probably the worst cards. Much worse than the Piledriver, and worse than Ringleader or Muxus most of the time. Like, it's okay here just because it costs 2 mana, but I think it's probably the worst 2 drops. I think probably a mistake. The appeal of Cratermaker is that it kills Collector Roof unconditionally. So he does land go, and there's the stage. He does have the plow. So this, I think he kept his hand kind of off the plow and maybe a depth kill. But since I drew the Warchief, such a good draw there. Because now even if he did make the 2020, I can Matron. If I draw a land, I can go Matron. I'll probably go Matron Sling no matter what, I guess is the actual thing. So there's Ooze. Not really threatening the onboard Cratermaker and no green source in play. And I draw the Sling-Gang, which is obviously amazing. Grab Piledriver. Let the trigger resolve, then pop the Ooze. So I get in for 10. And he's just kind of dead from here. Play the Knight. It's a 2/2. Yeah. I think I would Matron for Sting Scourger and Sling-Gang. I have multiple avenues of killing him there. So my opponent's draw was not particularly impressive. Maybe they kept a kind of a weak hand. Vial did a lot of legwork this game. I got to use it every single turn. So I drew the Lackey on turn 1, Cratermaker for turn 2, then Matron, and then yeah, used it every single turn, I think. Round 5. This is kind of where the wheels fall off a little bit. So this is against a Rug Delver build. Again on the draw, so I lose the die roll a lot, which was rather unfortunate. Muxus in the opening, no 1-drop, pretty bad hand. Have to mulligan to 5, unfortunately no red source in the 6. This is a reasonable 5. I put back Lackey and Sling-Gang. Okay, I need something to recoup my card advantage, so I want to keep the Ringleader. That start makes me think Sneak and Show. So I go Cavern Lackey. If I had known that they were Rug Delver, I would have led on Mountain. I draw the second Cavern. I fetch around a Stifle here. Or Preordains. Passing. Play the Karakas because it's the least valuable land if they're going to wasteland me again. Pass. Draw Skirk. And I decide it's time to Cavern out Matron. If they have a Stifle, then they're not going to stifle the Ringleader at least. So I grab a Munitions Expert, thinking they're bound to play a threat. And then I get totally sidestepped by a main deck Life from the Loam. And this Loam just kind of wrecks me. I draw a Vial, which was encouraging in the moment. When they have the Force, pitching Daze, play my Skirk. They dredge Loam, hit Wastelands. I draw a very uncastable Chainwhirler, unless I sacked my whole board. I do make a mistake here, so the Wasteland me again, but they're not really doing anything. I draw a Vial. Okay, so this is the thing. Do you cast the Vial pre-combat or not? I thought that if my opponent had a Lightning Bolt, they would have bolted the Skirk already. Why would you let me have the mana in the main phase? So I opt to attack first, thinking that I'll have to fight over a Daze by sacking stuff to Skirk Prospector. So I'm like, okay, I want to get the damage in. And they bolt the Skirk, because they do have the bolt for some reason. I'm like, God. And I think at this point, I tilt a little bit, and I play the Vial without thinking. And they have the Daze, which was expected. So I don't know if it's a mistake to play the Vial is way more important than a point of damage. So I think I should have just played the Vial pre-combat just on the off chance that they were going to wait on the bolt for whatever reason. Maybe they made a mistake. So that was a really feels bad. And that essentially loses me the game. I draw a land too, so if I'd even just waited, if I'd just kind of held on and recalibrated myself and not tilted and played the Vial anyway, I could play the Vial around a Daze on this turn. They might have Spell Pierce and other Force, but then they're down to 2 cards. I think some of their cards are lands from the Loam. So I port their Trop, so I know that if they're going to cast Loam, they at least have to not wasteland me this turn. War Marshal, that resolves. So I'm like kind of racing this Delver, but then it flips to a Spell Pierce, which doesn't really do anything. Can't pay Echo, but they stay back with the Delver, which is smart. Draw another War Marshal that I can't cast. So one basic all game was pretty rough. We're turn 11. I had a basic in my opener, and then they have to play a Dreadhorde. And then the game is basically over. I could draw. I can't cast this Aether Vial because I know about there's a Spell Pierce in their hand. And then they just start bolting everything. If I'd drawn a Cavern there, I can maybe get out of it, but not with the Mandrills coming down as well. So the Cavern's 1 turn late, and they have the extra Lightning Bolt. So I think if I had gotten to resolve the Vial this game, I think I win this game. So I would have gotten an extra War Marshal in play. I would have gotten to Expert, the Arcanist, and potentially blow out the Hooting Mandrills with mid-combat Chainwhirler. And then the Ringleader could have found like a Sling-Gang or something. So getting Vial online would have been absolutely huge for winning this game through the Loam lock. Yeah, that one's kind of... It's awkward because my opponent did that thing where it's like, they were like... I think strictly speaking, if they were going to bolt the Skirk, they should have bolted the Skirk immediately. Because there's no reason to let me play anything around Daze. That was kind of a feels bad. That's game 1. Ghost of Tom Chode, thanks for the follow. So game 2, yeah, it was kind of a tilt. Game 2, just a really land heavy hand, but that's okay. Just all mana and a way to kill a Delver, and Port can delay an Arcanist. So now that I know it's Rug Delver, I'm not leading on Cavern. Well, second Port, which is kind of cool. My hand does not really do anything. I port the fetch here. So the reason to port the fetch here is I want to force them to fetch out a green source. Yeah, but if I drew a land, I could have played it post combat, right? So waiting until the Skirk attacks doesn't really tell them anything, right? It's a weird situation. So get them to port the chop. So based on what I saw Dreadhorde, I saw Hooting Mandrills. So I sideboarded. I didn't sideboard in the Chalices, and I think from now on I'm going to start sideboarding in Chalices. I brought in 2 Relics, 2 Blasts, 2 Pyrokinesis, board out. I boarded 1 Blast. 1 Blast. So 1 Blast, 2 Kinesis, 2 Relic. Boarding out the 2 Piledrivers, 2 Warchiefs, and a Muxus. But imagine if this was a Chalice of the Void. It'd be a lot better. Matron's such a great draw because then it makes his hand like actually functional. And I blast the cantrip here. Since they went land go. It's just like their hand can't be that good. But they do have a second Brainstorm, which I feel a little stupid about. But also thinking that I'm gonna be tapping out a lot, so holding up this blast a little awkward. I don't want to sacrifice Skirk to blast if I want to. Yeah, blast is pretty medium against a lot of iterations of Rug right now. So they will unblack a fetch land. Lackey is a kind of a great draw. So I go Lackey off Mountain. I don't care if they counter it really. Yeah, so I think Rug used to be a little bit heavier on Oko, and they were playing Stifles where the Rebs were also live, but even then I'd probably just be boarding in Chalice anyway. And also if you look at these sideboards, they're pretty light on answers to Chalice. Like they have Oko, but that's still making it a 3/3, which is pretty valuable on the board. And then they have like 1 Abrade and like 1 Brazen Borrower. So they're pretty soft to Chalice, so I think my losses against Rug in this tournament ultimately come down to me boarding in Red Blast over Chalice. So I go for the greedy Muxus here, thinking that, okay, so if they want to stop Muxus, I know one of their cards in hand is a land. They have to bolt Skirk, put a blocker in front of Lackey, and wasteland me in the next 2 turns. So I felt like Muxus was like the most high upside thing. They dredge, they put a couple bolts in the graveyard, which is kind of hilarious. 3rd Brainstorm, play a Delver, and a Sylvan Library, and they are very dead. And they head off. So sack the Matron to play the Muxus. Boom. Hit Pashalik, Sling-Gang, and my opponent is insanely dead. So that's 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, just straight up dead to Pashalik pings, Pashalik Sling-Gang pings. So pretty lucky there. I feel like they didn't have a lot of pressure. This hand looks pretty good. But again, so interesting sequencing here of what do you lead on and why. Skirk, Vial, or Relic. There's reasonable arguments for all of them. So Relic is, or Vial is the most valuable card. It enables your whole hand, right? It's the best card in the matchup, basically. So Song says, forcing them to make them days because you can't beat Dreadhorde. So my thinking was, I want to lead on a Relic because it can make Dreadhorde worse over time and slow down Mandrills. It might bait a Daze. It might not daze a Skirk Prospector if they have a Lightning Bolt. So I thought leading on Relic and then going for a turn 2 Vial the most sense. So I do that and they fucking Spell Pierce me. It's actual worst case scenario. Because now they're not behind on their land drop. And they have Dreadhorde. I draw a Red Blast. I'm like, why aren't you Chalice? The Vial resolves. And like, this is the problem with Brainstorm and Wasteland me. Yeah, Spell Pierce game 3 I thought was pretty suspect, but that's what happens. So this game is a story of Red Blast being dead this whole game. Like, I could blast these cantrips, but it doesn't really do anything. So I'm just like, I don't have an answer to an easy answer to Delver. I maybe should have blasted Delver right there, but at this point, I'm scared of Oko or Brazen Bar on my Vial because I'm really kind of all in on this Vial sticking to win me the game. They flip to a Lightning Bolt. It's terrifying. But yeah, imagine this Red Blast with a Chalice. My opponent would have drawn a Deadbolt. Your Dreadhorde Arcanist would have nothing. I'd get to cast Chalice around Daze by Vialing and Prospector. They would have had another dead Delver in their hand, and then I could Cratermaker the Delver on the following turn. Chalice would just be like insta win, draw 6 drop, not great. I think I should have attacked there. I don't think they were gonna block. So flip to the same Lightning Bolt or a different one. Sure. They just draw 3 Brainstorms and get to flash it back 3 times. This is the thing about Dreadhorde being Dreadhorde. Dreadhorde's fucking ridiculous. And I know they have bolts in hand. So I block here to try to force them to use the bolt, and then I blast a Delver so I'd stop taking 1 million damage. Blazing Volley sucks, but at least I take out the Dreadhorde. But then they have Brazen Borrower for my Vial. And I mean, I'm not in a terrible spot here. I just needed to draw Pyrokinesis, basically. But they had Brazen Borrower and then Hardcast Force. Or not Hardcast Force, Force Pitch Daze. And they have a Bolt in their hand. So if I'd drawn Pyrokinesis, I think I win that game pretty handily. Would still be at 6. I would have a Vial. The Cratermaker would have gotten forced. So this is kind of a bummer loss, but I think it's showing how Red Blast is pretty medium against these iterations of Rug. How much better Chalice is. They would have had so many dead cards. They got to Brainstorm 6 times this game, so it's kind of no wonder that you lose, right? Yeah. Chalice, pretty GG. So on the play, around 6. This player, I thought they were either on. Go back. I thought they were on Sneak and Show or Snowco, because that's what I played them on last. But I know they normally play Sneak and Show. Obviously, the 7's unkeepable. It's just 1 land action, really, or 1 land, no accelerant. It's a very medium 6, but it does have some upside against both Sneak and Show and Snowco. So, because it has the Caracas, which is good against both, and then it has 2 Matrons, which are pretty good. Volk go, so I'm like, okay, Sneak and Show. Spell Pierce, I'm like, okay, Sneak and Show. And my stuff. Grab Muxus, because I'm like, okay, it's Sneak and Show. And then my opponent plays Oko, and then, wait, it's Rug Delver. I was just like, wait, fuck? Yeah, they're gonna increase the frequency of Muxus. So I grab a Lackey with this Matron, thinking that it both puts extra pressure on the board for this Munitions Expert and uses my mana most efficiently. And they didn't have Daze for the Matron, so I'm not playing around Daze this turn, but they get to Wasteland me, which sucks, and they have the Bolt. They attack. I top deck a Cavern, which is amazing. I take out the food. They don't have a Stifle. Keep attacking the Oko. Maybe a mistake, but now with this draw is pretty good. I'm getting pretty close to this Muxus. Grab a Gempalm, so now I can kill an Elk and then attack for 4. I can even beat a Bolt. And it gets me closer to my 6th land drop, which is really what I care about. Warchief's also a reasonable draw. Vial, probably the worst draw. Worse than any Goblin, any land. But I throw my board at Oko and they concede, so I don't know. I guess their hand, I don't know what the hell their hand was. It seems like a really bad Rug Delver hand. Maybe like Force Negations. Lands. No, would have played lands. I don't know. Extra Oko. Yeah, so I got pretty lucky there. My hand was not very good against Rug Delver, but they just had no threats besides this turn 3 Oko. So this is kind of why I think Oko is like the worst threat in Rug. It's like so slow. It made 2 3/3s. It's like not super amazing. It soaked up a good amount of damage, but it's not incredible. I mean, their hand was pretty bad, though. This is a snap keep, obviously. Since I have double Vial, I think it's pretty easy to lead on Vial here. It does get dazed, but I'm like, okay, that's fine. Got 2. And the second one I can resolve around a Force of Will with this Red Blast. This is where Red Blast would shine. They didn't actually have the counterspell. Jam Lackey, try to force them to daze it in case of Judge Horde. They just have the Bolt. Port here is excellent. Keeping them off what color is kind of interesting. I think I wanted to port, I port Trop to keep them off of Hooting Mandrills. Oh, okay, no, I'm thinking Dread Horde at this point. That is just what I lost to. So, the fetch, just pass it back. Start trying to bait stuff with the Vial. Cratermaker's an okay draw. Since they fetched out second green source, continue porting red. So Red Blast actually connecting there was very good. Not that Oko was doing a whole lot on that board state anyway. But it could be annoying to kill. Leave the Vial on 2, because I wanted to pay Echo, port, and hold up Cratermaker. Clothis. And a Delver. Clothis is not super useful against Goblins, I think. I'm kind of surprised people board that in. Through a Wasteland, which is kind of cool. I can force them to use Clothis for mana rather than affecting the race. They don't flip their Delver. So they do have a Dread Horde and a Wasteland. So that's pretty good. But they Wasteland the Crocus instead of the Port, which I thought was weird. Like, this isn't getting Devotion. Relic's kind of a sick draw. So I get a free attack for 2. Delver still doesn't flip. Port them off red, and then I can start, if they're targeting me, or if they're targeting my graveyard with Klothys, I can start targeting myself with Relic to choose what gets exiled to be the same thing that they choose. They don't get any effect out of Klothys. And if they chose something in their own yard, I would have just popped the Relic there. That way they can't get red in their turn to cast a bolt. Expert's super good draw. So, unconditional, pop that Dreadhorde, hit you for 4. Opponent's draw just did not line up very well against mine. Delver still refuses to flip. I just popped the Relic here. I want to draw a card anyway, and I don't want them to cast a Hooting Mandrills. The wasteland the port, but Vial hitting to Vial on this Warchief off that Relic pop is really sick. Now I've just got easy lethal on the table. So the relic draw was quite good. Nullified the Klothys. Do I have a stream schedule? Yes, I am starting to regulate my stream schedule a little bit more. It got disrupted this week because I recorded with Leaving a Legacy on Tuesday, but I'm trying to stream every Tuesday evening, and then I will stream either every Friday or Sunday, depending on how I'm feeling. It's going to almost always be Tuesday, unless I have something like I have to do, and then it's going to be Friday, same time as Tuesday, so starting around 6:37. A little late today, 7:30. I'd like to start closer to 7, and then I might stream on Sundays. If I don't stream on Friday, I'll stream on Sunday. Is basically what I'm saying. All right, so I got my revenge against Rug Delver, and then here's Rug Delver again. This game was really frustrating. This whole match is really frustrating. So I'm on the draw again. So I lost the die roll to all my Delver opponents, I think. I guess against the one I won, I was on the play, I think. So they go Ponder, no Shuffle. So here's an interesting question. Do you Wasteland? How can I support the channel more? You can sub to the channel here to get emotes and stuff. You can go to the Patreon if you want exclusive content. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube. That always boosts that. Like, follow, subscribe, all this stuff on YouTube. That's the best way to support me. Patreon's the most direct way. Bias, Andrion, follow. Thank you. Joris Trioska is a well-known Jeff. Okay, cool. So I think it's an interesting question of Wasteland here or no. They didn't shuffle off the Ponder. So what are the pros and cons here? So if you go Cavern Lackey, the problem with going Cavern Lackey is, or even Cavern Prospector, which is arguably better. If you go Cavern Prospector, you can go turn 2 War Marshal, sack the War Marshal, play the Lackey. Patreon is like a platform where like you can get exclusive content. It's in the description, the stream description. So I've got like sideboard guides. I've got this is Rug Delver. I didn't know this at the time. This could be Sneak and Show. But in this tournament, I kind of assumed Volcanic Island meant Rug Delver, unless I had a reason to assume otherwise. So anyway, I play a creature here. The problem is I'm not playing off a basic. And this is a volcanic island, not a tropical island. So I think it's correct to Wasteland here because if their next land is Trop, they can't go Bolt plus Wasteland. Because if I go Cavern Lackey or Cavern Skirk, they can go Bolt plus Wasteland on this turn, or on their next turn. So I end up going with the Wasteland here. And I drew another Cavern, so I feel a little okay at Wastelanding them. So they go for Trop, Preordain. I think they bottom. With the Lackey, maybe could have gone with Skirk. And they have the pretty specific punish of Wasteland plus Hooting Mandrills. So that sucked. Got a Prospector. And then they have another Wasteland, but no But here's the thing, like, they didn't have a way to kill the Lackey, so this Hooting Mandrills and the Lackey are in a standoff. They attack, so this tells me they drew a land or a Delver or something, another threat, and it is another fetch, and they drew a Tarmogoyf. It's an unfortunate spot where I don't really have as good top decks because I don't have a Munitions Expert in my hand. And Gempalm Incinerator can't kill this, and neither can Cratermaker. I drew the third Cavern. Like, okay, surely they don't have another Wasteland. Get my chump. And they brainstorm and have the third Wasteland and another Delver. So this was really unfortunate that 3 Wastelands lined up exactly with 3 Caverns. Yeah. Play my Cratermaker. I'm taking a lot of damage off the Hooting Mandrills now. Thanks to the tier 1 sub carry. 5 months, wow. And they do flip the Delver. So I go for a kind of a baiting block here, right? I really want to get this Mandrills off the table. I have to trade bodies with it eventually. But I also don't want to take too much damage. So I do the triple block. And the thing is, if they do have a bolt, it's only really costing me a goblin, because I can sack 1 goblin to pay for Prospector to blow up the Delver. So I'm either trading with the Delver and losing a token of value, but trading with the bolt as well, or trading War Marshal and Cratermaker for the Hooting Mandrills. I think is an okay trade. So I take 3 this turn, but Vial's a little late to the party. This Lackey just got stonewalled by Goyf all game. So they double attacks. I'm like, okay, they must have something, but I'm gonna block like this. Chain Lightning. And at this point, I'm basically dead. I can't really beat the Hooting Mandrills from this position. I draw a land and go for the Hail Mary Matron. Days kind of somewhat expectedly. So triple Wasteland. There's not so much you can do about triple Wasteland when you're on the draw. I didn't Wasteland them on turn 1. I think it would have gotten worse for me. But they brainstormed for that third Wasteland, and it got them really ahead. They didn't find that third Wasteland. I think I can win this game because I can start actually casting my 3-drops. If I'd gotten Pashalik on the table, it would have made combat a lot worse for them. If I got into Matron for Gempalm or Expert, I could have killed the Goy for the Mandrills. So yeah, this loss fucking sucked. In game 2, so that game I didn't see any Dreadhorde Arcanists. So again, I sideboarded 2 relics, 2 blasts, and 2 pyrokinesis. And I have a whole bunch of blasts. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play this vial around a force because I can blast a force. And then they just play Dreadhorde. And this is basically the game, because I don't think I ever draw a removal spell that kills Dreadhorde. I just only draw lands. I think this is a pretty good matchup. My record against Rug is kind of insane, but this is a problem with me not adjusting my sideboarding kind of mid-tournament, because I had a plan pre-tournament of like what Rug Delver looks like, and this is not the Rug Delver that I had been facing for the past month. People have not been playing 4 Dreadhordes in Rug. People have been playing more Tarmogoyfs, and I saw the Goyf and I saw the Hooting Mandrills, so I thought, you know, maybe they have 1 or 2 Dreadhordes, so I didn't board in the Chalices. But this is what happens. Draw Lackey just on time. Bolt. And the Wasteland. Draw a Matron, so I'm like kind of in it. Grab a Ringleader. Could have gotten a Munitions Expert, but killing one Dread Horde when there's two doesn't really do anything. They don't have any more stuff going on, so I get Ringleader. Hit 3. They have another Bolt, so sucks. This is what. So the one Warchief I left in the deck, basically for Muxus flips reasons, one of the worst hits there. I really wanted a War Marshal, another Matron. Yeah, Warchief really, really sucks against Dread Horde Arcanist, like so fucking much. These cantrips are just not worth blasting. At this point, I'm just holding it for Brazen Borrower. And they have a Goyf and another Wasteland. And I have more 4-drops. Ringleader kind of bricks there, just hitting Matron. I can't cast the Matron without tapping out into Daze, which they very, very likely have. They have a Rough Tumble, and that's game, basically. Blast that cantrip, because that's all I got. And they have a Mandrels. So, like, this is just they had the varied threats. I had 0 answers all game. I went through 20 cards and hit no Munitions Experts, no Gempalm, not even a Cratermaker, no War Marshals. The Ringleader hitting 3 was good, but the second Ringleader was very bad. It just hit a Matron that I couldn't afford to cast without walking into Daze. So, yeah. This one really sucked. I was really frustrated to lose this match. They had the double Wasteland. But again, you know, if these Red Blasts were Chalices, I think I win this pretty handily, right? They got to cast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra spells off of Dread Horde Arcanist this game. So they'd gotten chaliced out. Their hand may have been non-functional. Who knows after all that cantripping, extra cantripping. This was really frustrating. I fucking hate this card so much. I hate it so much. I don't think a 2-drop should be able to dominate a game state like this so easily. But I mean, yeah, we didn't hit any of our removal spells. We didn't draw Pyrokinesis. We didn't draw Expert, Cratermaker, Gempalm, any of that. Or even Relic for Goyf and Mandrels. If I had a Relic, probably could have slowed down the clock a good bit. But yeah, that was my second loss, so it basically put me at a top 8 there. That player did go to 3rd place, I think. Yeah, Rug Delver was half the top 8 or 3. No, it was 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place was all Rug Delver. Deck's really good. I know I'm pretty confident against it most of the time. I expected to play against Rug, but I was expecting different versions of Rug, I think. Playing against more Stifles, as I said earlier. So, yeah, I think I'm going to stop boarding in Reb, because it was just so like pointedly obvious to me how much worse Reb is than Chalice on the average board against these Rug builds. So yeah, I'm gonna now board with my current board. I've gone back up to 3 Pyrokinesis, so I think I'm just gonna go 3 Kinesis, 2 Chalice. Logic being, they can't Force of Will literally everything. They can't Force of Will Vial, and then Force of Will Chalice, and then Force of Will Pyrokinesis. There's only so many forces. They might cut some. Some players might. And you know, it's just a lot of must answers. And it yeah, basically that. Basically that. All right, so final round. So I'm trying to hit sneak into top 16 here. Got so I finally win the die roll against a Delver deck. Can't forget it. I keep forgetting if I won or lost against Bananas Thrower. Blue-red Delver. The Arid Mesa tells me it's Blue Red Delver, not Rug. I draw the second Lackey, which lets me Wasteland there, which is kind of clutch. They just have basic mountains, so I'm like, okay, definitely Blue Red, and I draw Muxus. So my top decks were really insane there, right? I drew Lackey into Muxus. Obviously, if I had drawn a Gempalm Incinerator or a Munitions Expert, that would also be very good on the previous turn. But this is better, so they concede to Muxus. And game 2, also not super interesting. Seven. All right, so I'm gonna talk about 7. The problem with this hand is that even though it does have a Red Blast and access to a couple of basics and a Wasteland, it's just like this is a hand that loses to Dreadhorde Arcanist like completely, like just absolutely loses. So you're back that one. This hand's also not very good against turn 2 Dreadhorde, but it at least has something proactive to do. So if I drew like Munitions Expert or whatever, it's like an Island Preordain, the Brainstorm, and the Brainstorm locked. So this game is whatever. They do have a Gut Shot for the Lackey, which tells me kind of what version of Blue-Red they're on. They're on like a more Prowess build, but I drew a Vial, which is also kind of nice, so now I can just ignore Counter Magic for the rest of the game. They Preordain bottom, and still whiff on the land. Skirk is nice. Play my Piledriver. Violin, they play Delver. Violin, Skirk, and then I summon a Cavern of Souls to the top of my deck. Boom. Ringleader, draw 2. But it's 2 very good ones. They jump with their Delver, which can't feel good, and die. So this is kind of a freebie. My opponent got stuck on 1 land after cantripping 3 times, which is pretty unlikely. Pretty lucky there. That was my showcase. So 6-2, 2 losses to Rug Delver, beat 1 Rug Delver, and beat 1 Blue-Red. So 2-2 against Delver. But again, I think it came down to bad sideboarding, and I could have won the first loss, I think, playing differently, just with the getting the Vial resolved in that game 1 against the Loam Lock. Just thought about it a little bit longer and resolved the Vial around a daze for sure. I'm pretty sure I can win that game. So that was that. What to say is the hardest matchup? So this is what I'm currently on. So I played a little bit more. I did like a 1-2 drop. Just played against some combo and got not drawn a little bit. And then I got a 4-1. Then it's just been a couple 3-2. So I've just been kind of at like 60%. Past couple of leagues. Kind of medium. Most of the losses felt like kind of outside of my control to some extent, like whether it's bad flips off of Ringleader or Muxus, or having pretty rare draws from various decks. Worst matchup for this configuration is probably Reanimator. This sideboard does not respect Reanimator very much. But I don't really expect to see Reanimate. I mean, it's also pretty bad against Turbo Depths. So yeah, Reanimator and Turbo Depths, still Goblin's worst matchups. Pretty clearly. It's 9 o'clock. Guess I'll play a little bit. I don't know if my brain can handle a full league, but I'm gonna play this. Soon, in 2 or 3 days, I'm getting a new microphone. I got the setup. I'm gonna have a boom mic thing. Got that set up. Hey, John. We just finished going over the showcase. I think I'm gonna start a league. Probably not finish it. But the mic's on its way, so I'll have a nicer mic. I don't want to bend forward to speak really closely into my mic anymore. And hopefully it'll cut out any How's the third Badlands been? I've liked the third Badlands. Keeps Munitions Expert from getting stuck in your hand a lot. I guess I could play another fetch. I'm on 13 black sources. You know what? I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try playing another fetch. Somebody stuck. I'll try this. I don't know. That's 6 fetches, 5 fetchables. It's probably okay. Makes me a little nervous, but it's probably okay. Why Arid Mesa over... because they're what I own on Moto. I have 1 Wooded Foothills. I guess I should play a Wooded Foothills over the 4th Badlands at this because of Spyglass. There's actually, since I'm not playing Basic Swamp, there's no reason to not split your fetches. Randomly get hosed by Pithing Needle. Oh, it's James. He's on Depths lately. This is a good hand versus Depths. This is a good hand versus Depths. Might lose anyway, but... Of hands to have against Turbo Depths, this is one of them. This is certainly one of them. Lackey into Muxus. If he does have the Thoughtseize, we can at least go Piledriver or Cratermaker. Probably play the Cratermaker over the Piledriver. A little bit less damage initially, but it's better against Pithing Needle. I don't know. I might tap out on turn 2, actually. Yeah, time to break in the new emote? Hell yeah. We're hoping no Reclaimer. 1 time? Turbo only plays 1 Reclaimer, so let's see if he has it. And at least, I mean, we could kill a Reclaimer on turn 3. Cast Inquisition. Inquisition of Kozilek me, please. I guess he could be on something else. He could be on Delver or something. James has played Delver at times. And besides the Muxus, it's okay against Delver. Yep. Alright. Bummer. Oh, it's happening. Get your emotes ready. It's happening. Alright, no gut shot. No gut shot. No gut shot. No one time, no gut shot. I'm sure glad I led on Cavern instead of Mountain, instead of fetching, assuming he was Depths. Oh, joint session with Rich. Oh, awesome. Gutshot's a thing in some blue-red Delver builds. I don't know if he's playing blue-red or Rug. I would bet he's playing Rug, especially if he's playing with Rich. No shuffle. Alright. No Gutshot. Okay. Ooh, and a port? Yeah, we're gonna put in Muxus and see what happens. Depending on our flip, we'll either cast Piledriver or Wasteland him. I think it's gonna be correct to Wasteland him. No, Rich Cali. Alright, no Gutshot. Let's see. Big Muxus, big Muxus, big Muxus. Yeah. Wow. That was sad. It's still probably good enough. I think we play the second Piledriver now. Because he has to kill this, 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 and I don't think he can even kill Muxus. This is an attack for 2, 4, 6, 14, 22. Yeah, so we hit 1. We hit 1, but I think we're still fine. Here's the thing, Muxus whiffs are never even that bad. All right, so we got our Muxus. It was worth it. It was worth it. Like, what's he gonna do? He can't play a threat or else he dies because he has to jump block a Piledriver. Yeah. Yeah, that person's been selling Muxus for 70 ticks for a while, and it's not gonna work. All right, so assuming rug, I'm gonna do this. Relic. All right, so this comes out. This comes out. This is down to 27 Ringleader hits, but I think that's okay. I think I'm consistently shaving a Muxus against Delver. Because I can't think there are many games where you're going to need more than one. Okay. So this is new sideboard strat against Rug. Presumed Rug Delver. If it's not Rug Delver, it's Blue Red Delver, then the only bad card we're boarding in is Relic, and Relic's not atrocious. It at least cycles. And this, we board out the same cards, except we leave in Chainwhirler. Got that Deathrite Shaman apology out of my chat. Get out of here, Steve. Yeah, this is already basically overboarding. So Blast was noticeably very bad in the showcase against Rug. We're going with the Chalices instead. Because people are playing lots of Dreadhordes. And what matchups is Chainwhirler pre-board important? Elves is a big one. Death and Taxes, Maverick. Aether Vial. Blue Red Delver is a big one. What else? Mostly covers it. But it's nice against 4-color Loam. Allurin, yeah, actually Allurin's a good call. Okay. We keep these. Land heavy, which is generally where you want to be in Delver. It has a Mogg War Marshal and it has a Lackey that will probably eat Lightning Bolt. Grizzlebrand isn't a necessary card. Agreed. Second War Marshal. Okay. So the appeal. I think I'm still gonna Mountain Lackey. I want to fetch while he's not holding up Stifle potentially. The Lackey is unlikely to. I don't want to get Wastelanded. I want to play War Marshal in turn 2 most of the time. I think trying to assume this Lackey's going to get there is pretty side case. I kind of want him to daze this, because that means he's not playing another threat most likely. There's some argument because he let on Trop, not Volcanic. We're looking to draw. I mean, Chalice is a good draw. Pyrokinesis is a very good draw. Munitions Expert, very good draw. Gempalm's very good with these. Gempalm's actually arguably better than. What's the Lackey Resolve? Cool. Didn't flip the Delver. That's also cool. Now, I think this might get. No. I just play a Tarmogoyf. If we draw an Expert, get to kill the Goyf. Be a Dreadhorde. Dreadhorde would be worst case. Plays a Dreadhorde. Really have to draw Pyrokinesis. There is a question of would I wait a turn to draw to cast Chalice? I think since he tanked on that, probably. Okay, so he's pondering, trying to find that bolt and set up his Delver. Steve, James is on a call with Rich Callie, he mentioned. So they're talking through line stuff. Okay, no shuffle, so I'm assuming this means a bolt. Could be a second Delver, I guess, but that's pretty bad if I draw one of my 5 removal spells. I've got 3 Experts, 2 Gempalms in this build. Frozen Divide, thanks for the follow. We bolts the Lackey and attacks. I think I'm going Cavern War Marshal. Kind of sucks if he has Wasteland then. And then if I draw an Expert, can't cast it around days. Interesting. Interesting. I think I take this trade. I feel like this means second Delver. Why would he offer this trade if he didn't have another Delver? And just expecting. This, okay, so I can read no bolt, because if he had bolt, he wouldn't offer the Delver as a trade. So he has a second Delver. I let him play, if I don't block and I let him play second Delver, and then I draw Gempalm or a Munitions Expert, that puts me pretty far ahead. So I should not block. Because he's forced to block with second Delver. Really? Huh. 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 I wonder if he would have bolted the Lackey if I blocked. Huh. Could definitely be a mind game. How do I want to play this now? I guess the floor isn't that bad. Because then if I block, he just bolts, and then all it costs him is a point of damage. So this way it actually sneaks. No, that actually makes total sense. He got in a free point of damage. He could just bolt after blocks. No, that's smart actually. Sequencing my lands here around Wasteland is tricky. So I offer the. I think I can let him daze the first War Marshal. I think. It does tell him a little bit about the contents of my hand as well. All right, enough about what that play was. I'm thinking, I don't know. Rich Callie's on a call with him, and I expect Rich to really know Delver. Rich is a really good player. I think I let this first War Marshal get dazed. I really can't afford. I really need 2 basics in play. Be able to expert around a daze. So I am losing stuff by playing around Wasteland. I think you gotta play around Wasteland. Upon brainstorm. Don't love that. Might port next turn rather than play War Marshal. I guess porting doesn't do a whole lot with the brainstorm known as hand. I don't know, it makes it slightly worse. I want to stop a green threat. Scared of Arcanus too. Delver, so he did have another Delver. Arcanesis. Alright, yep, still playing around. Wasteland. I guess he can just Wasteland. Yeah, I think I should have Cavern that. He might not Wasteland this port though. Big downside of this play is if he plays Spell Snare. Makes sense, it's going to happen anyway because he's trying to flip his Delver. Yeah, so I can top deck Cavern for Expert, or I could draw a Gempalm. I'd probably port Red Source and then Gempalm. And take some chunky damage. You have some stabilization in my hand. And And as long as I can cavern out this Ringleader, I feel okay. Though it will be bad if I cavern out the Ringleader and then I don't have another black source. So the thing is about not taking the trade there. So if we have the read that he has another Delver, I have 5 ways to uncounterably kill the Delver and then put in a War Marshal for free. So I think not blocking is correct. Okay, so the War Marshal resolves. That's cool. 1 days, good to know. I am dying. Yeah. Now we can at least draw an expert. Pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis the Delvers, I think we're okay. Alright, we're probably dead now unless we have now. Don't think that's gonna save me. I go to 1 here. Flashes back the bolt. This is live. We're in game 2, up a game against Rug Delver. Yeah, round 1. Opponent had pretty critical wasteland there. Kinda hoping we'd have found a Gempalm by Chalice. I mean, depending on... There's some hands I would have that I would have taken the trade, I think. I don't know, maybe not. Just for the sake of esoteric discussion. I can ask Rich about it later. I think it was a play to sneak in 1 point of damage. Because... Alright, so gun for bolt. Yep. Bolt me, yeah. Go to 1. I guess Sling-Gang technically keeps us alive. Distract me the rest of the game, yeah. But yeah, it's basically Pyrokinesis or bust here. I guess, no, expert. Okay, Pyrokinesis really would be good. 3 Delvers and an Arcanist is a lot. That's a lot. I have to sacrifice. Let's see if, I mean, if Delver flips, I die. Not, okay. hate that this thing is trample for some godforsaken reason. They can brainstorm setup next Delver flip. I basically gotta go, and I know he has a Daze in his hand. So I have to draw Pyrokinesis, kill these two. Yes, the very necessary trample on the 1 power creature, exactly. Well, dead. Yeah, to make you think to play with bump spells, yep. Alright, you have a bolt. He's got a mandrel. Second. Okay. Very dead. Alright, well, we just kind of got run over there. Kept a hand with no removal. That's what happens. 8 Chainwhirler against this version. Killing unflipped Delvers and brick-walling things can be pretty good, especially if there's Chalice in play. Very strong in combat. I'm gonna cut the Relic. Like, Relic's kind of mopey. You might be on 4 Arcanist and like 2 Mandrels, and that's it. And also, Relic has a little bit of conflict with the Chalices. We've gotten to Whirler, a Delver or 2 there. That could have been good. On the play, I feel much better. We can do a lot more things on the play. I like that we're still talking about this one play that was like this tiny either optimization or misplay. It was just to fuck with me. Alright, so really hoping... At that point, it was just the Delver. I guess it depends on what their hand looked like. Alright. Yeah, the hand looks solid. Another kind of interesting... I think we lead on Port here. I want to protect the Cavern. Probably not going to play this Cavern until turn 3. The thing about Port is that it... I mean, they're probably not going to just go fetch go. But then I get to mess with their... Issues with this hand. Wow, gets countered. So the problem with leading on Port, actually, is... Yeah, I'm supposed to lead on Wasteland, actually. Because if they counter the Vial, I want to be able to go... Probably Wasteland, you play Skirk. I think I play Wasteland here. And if they Wasteland my Wasteland, I'm okay with that. I have the Port as backup. So if they're wastelanding my wasteland, that means they're not wastelanding Cavern. The force, please. Bet they have it though. Thinking about what to pitch. Yeah, that's a bummer. Pitch Oko. Makes sense. Hand's a bit of a bummer now. Ooh. Oh, I want to slam that. I want to slam that pretty bad. They mulligan to 6. They force pitching Oko. I think I still hold. Right. Flip on Ponder. Okay. The race is on. Second Skirk. Not terrible. Oh, do I play Matron here? I don't think so. Skirk's better. I still get to port that way. No borrowers, cool. We draw a red land, we can take out the Delver. We know one of their cards is Ponder. Red land. Okay. So I could play the second Skirk. I could play the Matron now and wasteland them. And we can get Gempalm. Port of the Fetch and double wasteland. Ooh, that's a cool line. Red land. We use the expert here because it generates mana with I think we got this one now. That house is very good. This combination of wasteland and port forces them to fetch, basically. Hey, Lynn. Oh, they have a basic? A basic? Can't upgrade with that, yeah. Alright, we're gonna do Matron from Muxus and port them off the Prospector. Jamming the Chalice worked. Okay. That's just rude. I boarded out all the Warchiefs, so there's no reason to do a pre-combat. We drew 3 Wastelands, which is pretty rude. Double Cratermaker. Okay, I'll take it. I have a 7/7. And we still have a Gempalm. Alright. Yeah, the almost flawless victory. We were under duress from the Delver, but so if we didn't draw the red land that turn, we'd have to play another Skirk to get 3 goblins in play, take another 3, and then sack 1 goblin, tap a land to jump on it. Yeah, it's rude but fitting since double triple wastelands every other day of the week. So I'm assuming the basic is to hedge for mirror. And maybe like back to basics, Blood Moon, probably more blood. Basic has become standard. I guess as Rug gets more and more popular. We'll want to hedge for it. Alright, so we beat James being coached by Rich. That's pretty cool. Rich is like a terrifying Delver player. Play draw is such a big deal. Like, got to turn 1 Lackey, Cavern on the play, game 1, in our hand. Oh, this is Belcher. Ran into this is my last Belcher loss. I mean, none of our hands are good against Belcher, but as it gets, I guess. Oh, not Belcher. It's Reanimator. Way better for us. Ook, ook. Did nothing. We drew a Muxus. Okay. It's all coming together. Alright, so they brick for 1 more turn and then we win. That's what's gotta happen. Oh, it's fucking oops or whatever. Yeah. Man, this deck is bad. Alright. Yep. I'm dead. They got Thassa's Oracle. They got Chancellor. The two different kinds of Chancellors. Very cool. By that, I mean very lame. Well, we are going to mulligan to Mindbreak Trap, and then they're going to die. Pyrokinesis is also good against this deck. Most things are good against this deck. Trashmaster can come in. Needle? I think Needle has anything to hit. Alright, so we just want to be Threat Dance. We can board out a port, I guess. They literally don't play lands. Seems reasonable. He's 11. Steve, that's really depressing. Red Blast. Don't think has any real reason to exist in this matchup. Oh, I have to cut one more card. Cut a second expert. Boom. Yay. Man. Okay. 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 Chalice on 1 or 0? One shuts off a good number of our draws. And we also can't cast it. And we win. Didn't even... Alright, we didn't have to show the Mindbreak Trap. That's a big deal. Resubmit. What quality magic? Quality magic here on the channel. Alright, now we're really mulliganing to my Mindbreak Trap. Hey, we have Mindbreak Trap. Keep. Yeah, look, they started it. Alright, let's see. They kept 7. Alright, I'm gonna tank. I'm gonna tank on my hand a little bit to make them think it's like, oh, this hand is like, oh, I've got like a Turbo Graftear's Cage, is that good enough? I've got a Chalice of the Void, is that good enough? I guess I'll reluctantly keep. They're gonna fucking Chancellor. Nope, wrong Chancellor. Ook, ook. Guess I have to trap this. Right? If I don't, they can just Cabal Therapy me. Or casting, Fifth Return. And since I've tanked on it, they're just gonna name my Break Trap, so... Alright, so they have effectively 2 cards. This card doesn't do anything anymore. Lackey. No. Alright, they conceded. Cool. We didn't have to kill them. Quality magic. Turn 1 win. Oops, all spells. Bullshit. Give us Ooga Booga monkey impression. I don't have a dedicated Ooga Booga impression. No high tier monkeys. So yeah, JPR's got that's a great fucking emote. My ape emote also good, but this like intricate game versus James on Delver, and then it's like, oops, all spells. The duality of man. The duality of legacy. Oh, I'm gonna play around this to try to bait this and try to figure out what's in their hand, and it's gonna be all these calculated risks and deductions versus Chancellor of the Tangle, blah. Ugh. Probably gonna call it after this. Yeah, fake take tanking on the hand was absolutely instrumental. My opponent probably was like, why did he tank on it? You know. Yeah, you can't feel bad for Oops players. You just can't. It's not. They've absolutely done it to themselves. And like Oops is the deck that loses to literally every kind of interaction. Oh no, she's in the played recently on Shadow. It's decent. Like this. Doesn't have the famed unstoppable Mogg War Marshal game 1 against Shadow, but 2 functional mana, 2 1-drops. Six. So MTG bot says Bug Delver, but I played them like 2 days ago, and they're Shadow. Please no Thoughtseize. Oh, no. Thoughtseize. Oh, it's Hogaak. Okay. Alright. Normally I lead on Prospector, but we drew Muxus and we have removal spell, and this thing does not block. So we're gonna go big or go home. Might get turn 2 Hogaaked. But then we could top deck Karakas. Fast too fast? No. Shooting. They're like on a fast, so they don't have any of the so there's a bridge. Second Stitcher. That sucks. Oh, that's so bad. Oh wow, that's so fucking bad. Alright, so we have the top deck Karakas. Alright, well, they kinda hit the nuts there. So yeah, we could have stopped a bridge from below trigger, I guess, but... Alright, so if we top deck Karakas... Reanimator. Yep, makes We have 2 turns to top deck Karakas. We can go Skirk. Have that to pop the 2 bridges. Kind of bad, but... Could hold up Expert. Yeah. I guess I can... Okay, no. I am doing both at the same time. That's cool. Yeah, there's a therapy deck, but if they cast therapy... We can sack Prospector to itself, floating red. I'll have another... I'm gonna be casting Gravecrawler. Jesus. Triple... Supplier is the best card in the deck, so... Rather unfortunate. So if they have a land, like, dead. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's the dredge, or the Hogaak not draw right there. Goblins suck, Dursa, I'm gonna ban you. Now they get a Vengevine. Or So... It's 11? Oh, Gak recast? Yeah, that makes sense. Can't stop that, can I? Yeah. Well, I could draw Karakas still. Okay, so I just let this... We'd have to draw Karakas, expert your blocker. No, they get a Vengevine back. Right. Oh. No? This thing, and then we top deck Karakas and hope that wins. Vengevine. Probably dead anyway. Karakas. Alright, we're dead. Aw, 3 cards away. Oh, alright. Ten cards to board in? That's cool. So this version of Hogaak is weaker to graveyard hate, so I'm gonna mulligan a little bit more aggressively than I do against the bug versions. It's more, the version's more explosive, but it's fragile. Steve, that is cruel and unfortunate. Kind of questioning Piledriver versus this version compared to the bug version because they don't have crab. I can shave a land here. Our mana base isn't as weak, and I am lowering my curve a decent bit. I'll drop a Piledriver. I want to keep one Ringleader in the deck. I want to go like turn 1 Cage, or I guess turn 1 Lackey is still very good. Oh man, if this hand had a land. BFB? Control. I don't know what BFB is. If we had one more land, we could cast Muxus on turn 3 and have a Pyrokinesis. Is this worth keeping? We got 1 draw at a land. We don't lose if we brick. Posa, thanks for the follow. Those 22 outs at a 54. And then casting bridge from below BFB. It does nothing. So we have Relic, that's an okay draw. Cage is a good draw. Surgical buys us another turn, most likely. So two Surgicals. Cage, Relic. 21 lands. We've got 1. 22, so 6. So 20. So 4 pieces of Grave Hate. I guess Lackeys also make it good. So Lackey, so 4 Lackeys, 4 pieces of Graveyard Hate, 22 lands is over 30. Anything else I'm missing? That's a good draw. Another Kinesis is okay. An answer to bridge. I mean, altar. Man, this is such a tough one. This is such a tough one. Leaning towards keep. Okay, but we have over 30 good top decks. Oh, we do. Okay. That's actually a good point. We have to draw another land. Nope. Okay. Yeah, this is good. Let's ditch the second Kinesis. Don't need to play Cage. I think that hand's a snap keep with 2 lands. Points have the Stitcher. There. Ooh, that was a good pickup. guess if they have Hogaak in hand. Alter. I really want to not pitch Ringleader. I think I can let them mill one more. Other red card. Oh man. Oof. Dursit. It was experience. So we could hardcast the Ringleader here and then Kinesis as long as we hit like one red card. Hopefully we hit two so we have something to put on playoff Lackey. Losing the Skirk in play is kind of scary because Bridge from Below, one of the only ways they're going to win, but I think we do that. The upside's really, really high. 2 red cards, please. Okay. That was good. We hit another sack outlet and something that kills fast. Okay, Hogaak. Anger. Wow. Yeah, so once I played with Muxus, it was immediately apparent how good it was, I think. I went from one main to one main one side to 2 in the space of like 3 leagues or something. Second altar does not do a whole lot. I think they're dead now. Two, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so again, they do have Wear Tear as answer. Good to know about. They did see a Surgical. I'm kind of tempted to bring a Needle for Altar. No, I didn't play Modern at all. I sold my Modern stuff. Seeing how the basic heavy they are, I think I'm going to shave a Wasteland rather than a Port. Port seemed like it could be good. Chalice is much worse on the draw. A lot worse. Yeah, 17 damage, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, sorry, Norjask, we already did the review. I'll just leave a Miser's Chalice in there. It's still a reasonable draw in the mid-game. Like, glad I left in the one Ringleader. probably can't keep a no-hate hand on the draw. Skirk is pseudo-hate, but this hand doesn't do anything particularly impressive. To keep 7? Yeah, that's scary. Okay, this hand's kind of sick. Bottoming the land's a little scary. It's arguable to bottom Muxus, but we could always draw. I should have boarded in a Gempalm. Shouldn't, yeah. Yeah, I should have boarded a Gempalm back in. Cage or Lackey. I think we can go with Lackey because we have the surgical. A lot of their creatures do not block. It's also made bait a decay or trophy or something. Back and then play Stitcher Supplier, then we can draw Expert and sure. Wow. Wow. Big money. Hey, Pashalik Mons. Now that we've used our Muxus, we can play Cage. Let's just sub now. Your move, type of boy. 1, 2, 3. Get 4. 1, 2. What's great is they play a Hogaak from hand. They have to jump block with it. Plague Engineer. Plague Engineer would be a bummer, but beatable. Taron Lackey with the Tier 1 sub. Thanks a lot, JPR. You were my first sub. Yeah, if they play Plague Engineer, we sack our board for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to go to 12. And then we play Pashalik Mons, and then attack. Piledriver is a 2/1. Muxus is a 6/6. 5/5. They have to chump Muxus. Take 1, ping off the Gravecrawler. Yeah, they still probably lose if they play Plague Engineer. All right. Power of Muxus. 3-0. I guess I keep going. Natural Order, thanks for the follow. I was gonna stop, but, you know, we're here. So we've beaten Rug Delver, Oops, and Gundgak. Getting the full value lead. 2-1 each time. CP MPHD, thanks for the follow. Yeah, that's the Muxus emote is getting some use today. Actually, totally forgot that Cage shuts off Muxus, so if I sequenced Cage first, it would have been so bad. Yeah, opponent somehow, their hand certainly disrespected Goblin Lackey. Our hand was so good, though. Like, Lackey, Muxus, land, Cage, Surgical. Pretty gross. On the draw here, but this is quite a solid hand. Very much like this hand. Yeah, I agree, Steve. Mulligans to 6, so 7. Probably leading on Vial here no matter what. Turbo Depths. Or Tess? Looks like Tess. It's just alright. Graveyard bullshit. Full swing. Entomb. It's frequently debated. Alright, well. They need to brick, and then we draw Caracas. Yeah, I'm usually on 61. Go back and forth, I guess. Sometimes. It's not like people aren't ideological about it. It's like a genuine gameplay question because it depends on the context of your hand. All right, I can see. The Lotus Petal, chances that they brick there, and I did not Caracas, so. All right, Max Ape, engage. We only have one answer to Grizzlebrand, so I'm not gonna board in the Pithing Needle. All the Vials. Vial's pretty weak. Ringleader's better than Expert to some degree. Oh, do not forget to board in Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah. Just to not click on that one. Yep. This matchup sucks. So scenario on turn one, yeah. So the 61st card is kind of the third Ringleader. Not have any sideboard hate. That does not have any sideboard hate. Man, some dicey matchups today. Jeez. Kind of surprised for 3 though. So basically, if your hand is dependent on Lackey connecting, should not lead on Lackey over Vial. Vial's the more stable choice. But if you have like a lot of low mana cost cards and then like one big thing, like a Muxus, then I think it's more defensible to lead on Lackey. Alright, this is Lackey and a Surgical, so I'll keep. Six. This in the second wasteland. Yeah, also it's a factor of do you have a way to protect Lackey in the sense of do you have a way to make it so that it does something? Or it can beat a blocker. Alright, we're either dead or not dead. Okay, we're not dead. So 2 lootings, and they're about to get wastelanded off all their mana. Cool. They boarded in 2 Reverent Silences. They do have the Children package. Tendrils. They have Shenanigans, 2 Serenities, 4 Unmask. They cut the other discard? They did. They have a Magus of the Moon. That's hilarious. Okay, so we took thing. Okay. 1 Chrome Mox. 1 Bayou. Best draw, probably Piledriver. I don't want to show them more of the deck. Skirk. Skirk's okay. One has 2 lootings in hand. And they use 2 petals. Alright, they conceded. Cool. Needle. See the Children of Corliss. We only have 1 Caracas to bounce a Grizzle. Yes. Yes, Muxus does. Okay. I guess Muxus threatening a hit does actually make Needle on, like, we can actually beat a 7/7 lifelinker some percentage of the time with a Lackey hit. That was worth keeping on the draw. It's better than all these other cards. Moses the Coot, thanks for the follow. Oh, I could probably cut a land. Like, all right, this has anything. Alice, not going to be good enough. They mulligan to 5. Still don't think this hand is enough. This hand's pretty good though. I'm only putting back 1 Matron. I put back the second Matron. Isn't that weird? Put back the Port. Port's kind of awkward with Relic. Mindbreak Trap emote. That'd be pretty cool. I'm commissioning someone, or I'm talking to someone to commission a couple, two emote ideas I have. Oh, they mulligan to 3. Okay. I feel confident. I feel confident that we can beat a mulligan to 3. Alright. Fine drawing any of the cards we put on the bottom, so. Grizzlebrand and And we went. Skill games over here. That's for 4-0. Hey, Cliffy. Definitely some skilled magician, skilled magicianing, skilled wizardry. 2-1. This is the 2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1 stream. We did win because we interacted. That's a fact. Opponent Olgan to 3 and did not beat R5 of 3 hate cards. Plus a wasteland. So kind of. So 4 pieces of it are open. Magic. We've beaten Rug Delver. Oops All Spells. Gak. Gunned Gak, and Blackheart Reanimator. For every exiled Grizzlebrand, a goblin token is born. The match is struck. A star. I don't know if my stream gets that joke. If you haven't played Darkest Dungeon is a game. I streamed it once. I had like 2 viewers. It was a long time ago. But the narrator has like this awesome voice, and the quotes spits out are pretty awesome. Alright, let's see if we can get that trophy. If not, I'll be happy with a 4-1 here. We faced some abysmal matchups and got there anyway, so. Yeah. Hopefully we get, what's the matchup? We want Red Stompy. Get Red Stompy final round. Something I don't have to work my brain too hard for. I don't even want Miracle. I do have to think. What else would I take? I managed to fuck it up against Death and Taxes more often than I would like. Yeah, standstill would probably be pretty easy on the brain. Find Cavern of Souls. Cliffy's, you're disappointed in your fellow vintage players. Oh, this Q's killing me. Shark still would be a pretty ideal one. No! Why? Might be on Delver. So Sketch versus Delver. How can we be on the play? This is a hand that could beat Storm, yeah. Alright. I know he was playing Delver recently, so we might just get fucking Delvered. What's the 6? Alright. It's Delver. Oh, that's such a bad. Oh. Alright. Alright. No days, one time. No days, no force. No days, no force. Fuck. At least it was a force. Down to 2 cards. Have you been supposed to lead on Lackey there because we had the Gempalm? I don't think so, because there are other, like, he could draw a Spell Pierce. Okay, that didn't flip. That's cool. Alright. Land. Yeah, I miss it too. All right, no instep bolt. Don't flip your Delver. Don't flip your Delver. Don't flip your Delver. Don't flip your Daze. Okay, he's shuffling away the Daze. Maybe he's another one. Oh, don't play Dreadhorde. A Sprite Dragon. Okay. Oh, he's a Bolt. Why? Play 0 cards, but we're gonna die to 5 damage a turn pretty easily. Draw land. Ed. Well. Yeah. That's fine. Lura Delver with this Cyborg plan seems pretty good. I mean, we didn't know if he was on Delver or Storm. Like, that's definitely a keep. If he's on Storm much more than Delvers. We have to cut 1 card. Get a Piledriver. Helps race though. All right, let's get there. We can beat Blur Delver. Just need to draw a reasonable selection of lands and spells. Guess it might not be on Wasteland, even. Destruction. I like this. Yeah. Blast is close. I think I'll bring it in on the draw, but Chalice is better on the play. Wow, these hands fucking suck. These hands suck so bad. Keep 7. Oh, man. I have to go to 4. Hands have been abysmal. 7 was like maybe defensible. It's glacial. I don't know. Maybe turn 2 War Marshal, turn 3 turn's good enough. I have to go to 5. And does not do anything. Or 4. Wow. Unreal. 24 land deck, and we've had 2 0-landers. Thanks, deck. Appreciate you. Yeah, Cliffy, we had some good ones. Yeah. This fucking sucks. Can't cast Gempalm or Expert. We gotta draw like Chalice. Or War Marshal into Gempalm. fuck's sake. I don't know. Maybe I should have kept the 7, but 7 was very borderline. And the 6 was 0 lands. The 5 was terrible. The 4 was 0 lands. Maybe we could have kept the 4 just because that Pyrokinesis, right? Alright, so top deck Chalice right now or die. Okay, guess we die. And a bolt. Draw Chalice into red card Pyrokinesis. Can't even clear for Red Horde. Well, I guess if we have Chalice, we don't care Red Horde anymore. It's a shitty way to lose a 5-0. Very shitty way to lose a 5-0. Double Wastelanded, mulligan to 3. Or through. No point in cast. This should be red. Or it should just, not exist. And our 7 may... That's probably not beating this draw. Double Wasteland, Delver, Dreadhorde, Blazing Volley. Our 7 wouldn't beat this. Great Dragon, yeah. Fun games here. If we just had resolved the Vial in game 1, then probably win, but we tried to force check him and it didn't work, so... But... Yeah, this card's fucking stupid. Now Chalice isn't even good enough, and it's 0% to resolve, yeah. Alright, well that was a heinous way to lose a 5-0. Really don't think any of our hands are keepable. There's the fucking Chalice, jeez. Mulligan to Delver. Like, and I think all those, hold on, let me check about that 4. Maybe a 0 lander 4 with Pyrokinesis is correct. Alright, so nope, can't keep that 6. Can't keep that 5. I should have kept this 4. I think I put back Sling-Gang War Marshal. And Peter probably. Or I guess Expert. Yeah. Yeah, I should have kept this 4. I was thinking a turn 1 Vial on the play on a 3 might be more likely to get there. Let me check the 7 again. Yeah, the 7's not going to get there. I think that 7's terrible. Well, it's not terrible, it's just bad. It's just not good enough. Okay. So we go turn 2, War Marshal, turn 3, Matron, Delver, Arcanist, Blazing Volley, double Wasteland. Yeah, this would not. There are infinitely better 6s than that. Very frustrating way to lose 5-0, but that's Magic sometimes. We beat some really bad matchups, so kind of sucks that like I don't feel like I really made. There weren't many interesting games that league. Kind of a shitty league. We had our one interesting game against, like, even the game against Rug Delver, the match against Rug Delver was not very interesting. Game 1 we just had Muxus. Game 2 we just never got onto the board and died. Game 3 they force willed the Vial and then we choused them and that was it. Like the only tension was drawing the red sword, the removal Vial. That's the only thing that mattered. We played against a bunch of nonsense combo decks where your decisions don't matter. Hogaak was kind of close. Yeah, it was pretty garbage gameplay tonight. Audio's a little bit choppy. Seems okay. I've just been leaning a little bit far away. I'm getting a new mic in like a couple days, so should have any audio issues sorted out. But yeah, kind of bummer on gameplay, but you know, we got to Muxus some people and that's fun kind of by itself. I got a Blue Yeti. I was thinking about getting an XLR setup, but it's a lot of equipment and a lot of extra cost. So I decided against it. And the boom thing I got is compatible with the Yeti, so it seemed like an easy thing. How many games were not decided before turn 3? Not that many. Good point. Legacy today, past couple leagues, has not been amazing. Gameplay. Audio's improved greatly over the last couple months. I set a I forget what it's called. So I set a filter to cut the mic when I'm not talking, basically. A noise gate. I set a noise gate on it, and I think that helped a lot. Yeah, JPR. That's what I was looking at. Like I got a bunch of suggestions on Twitter from people who know like production stuff. I talked to Min, and he was like, you know, for the kind of thing you're interested in, Blue Yeti might just be the best choice for you. And because like a lot of mics are being price gouged like crazy, and so things are super expensive. But Yeti, just like one edition of it, or this one color, was like really, really. Like way cheaper than all the other ones. It was just the color. I'm assuming. I don't know why. Yeah, I know the old YouTube videos are a little hard to hear. Okay, so the appeal of switching the fetch lands, so we're on 7 fetches, 5 fetchables. In this build is that you have more options with your. Basically, you're weighing how often is it better to naturally draw a fetch land versus the bad lands. And the wasteland matchups, you would prefer to draw fetch lands. it insulates you from Wasteland better. Whereas in the non-Wasteland matchups, where your life total really matters, so like Storm or Depths. Depths is probably the biggest one because the more you lose your own life, the more goblins you have to sacrifice to Sling-Gang to get above 20. But it does matter to some extent with Storm. So that's kind of the valuation. What the fuck, Moto? Excuse me? Alright, we're gonna crack some chests. Crack some chests. Mind Leech Mass. Card's kind of sick. Fauna Shaman. Everyone's favorite unplayable card. Second Harvest. Octos. These chests have sucked. Summon Muxus. Wow. I remember this guy from as a kid. Alright, last one. We've been very below average on these chests, so let's get a full set or Muxus right here. Wow. Alright, those chests were garbage. That's fine. I opened my chests from the showcase prizes and I went way above average. Got like 70 something ticks and like 400 play points off of 30 or 28 chests, I think. Got like a fetch, I got a blue duel, I got a 30 ticket commander card, I got an Oko. Yeah. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for me. Those of you, if you're interested, I'm gonna be on Leaving a Legacy this week. The episode's gonna come out on Friday. It was recorded yesterday, and that's why I didn't stream yesterday. It was a lot of fun. Answered a whole lot of questions from the Discord. A couple other questions, talked about Goblin, what I'm gonna be doing in the future, sort of thing. Had a great time. I think it'll be a really fun episode to listen to. So that's going to come out on Friday. If you're new here, give me a follow here on Twitch. If you want to catch any VODs of previous streams, you can check me out on YouTube. Goblin Lackey 1 on there, description of the stream. Thank you for the subs today. Yeah. Got that Muxus emote now, which is pretty cool. And then if you want to see my exclusive content, you can go to patreon.com. Goblin Lackey 1 streaming on. And it's also in the description of both the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube and of the Twitch channel. I've got the Patreon link in there. And that's sideboard guides, it's articles, all that sorts of stuff. Also, I was on Eternal Turtles recently, and we talked about goblins, and I explained the whole 61 cards thing in pretty in-depth fashion. Had a lot of fun on Turtles. So check out that episode. That's, I believe, the most recent episode. Yeah. Appreciate everyone watching tonight. I know this is not my normal stream day. Next stream will probably be Friday. It was going to be Friday or Sunday. Depends how I feel, I guess. Goblins feels pretty good. This build, I think, is solid. Still pretty anti-Snoop. I do see some weakness in Piledriver. Hasn't been very good for me lately. Though I think most of that is the kinds of matchups. It's just like it's a meta thing. You also need cards to cut against certain decks. So if I cut Piledrivers for something else, I still need to cut cards against Delver. So it'd have to be something else that's like not super good against Delver. Otherwise you get like a lopsided deck. Big takeaways after the collab with Mike. Good question. I really liked having him on. I thought he was very thoughtful. Gave some pretty good advice about like tournaments, especially. I tried out Sting Scourge in the showcase, didn't particularly like it. I think something... I don't know. No big takeaway in terms of build. I think I like the cards I like. We're just not really running into the matchups where Piledriver is super relevant. And there is, I don't know, I've kind of felt like maybe Muxus makes Piledriver a little bit less necessary, but I think his control is bad right now, it seems. Piledriver is good in a lot of the control matchups. It punches the hardest for the least amount of mana, and that can matter when you're trying to burst down stuff. But I'm just seeing like no control. It's literally Combo and Delver. Combo and Delver is the entire fucking format. Even the control decks are like World Gorger. They're playing a combo finish. The Chalice decks are dead. There's very little control. So cutting Piledriver, not great against Delver. It's like not bad. Depends on the Delver variant. And it does help you erase stuff. Like, it's awkward against depth sometimes, but sometimes it's really important. So, I don't know what I would fit in these slots. I don't think I can put Snoop in these slots, because Snoop, I think, is a bad bear card. It's just bad. Oh my god, it's bad. And then, red. Ugh. Port's good. Yeah. I don't know. Today's kind of depressing in terms of gameplay. It really was. Games were decided very quickly. We had a cool 6-match win streak. Like crazy. This was a couple 3-2s that were kind of depressing. Oh, this is Miracles, and I just, yeah, these 3 lands are the only lands I draw for the rest of the game. It's never function. And I get back to basics in late game, and I never draw my Red Blast after seeing more than half my deck. No, I'm not. It's not about results. It's not about results. I'm happy with my results. Like, this is a great rating to be at in terms of like showing recent win rate. Just the state of the format has gotten worse in the past in the past week. Gotten a lot worse. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Yeah. If you're above 1800 ever, you're doing something right. At least in the recent, you're on hot streaks. I don't expect to stay above. I'm usually around, but I usually don't go much above it unless something's weird. I don't know. I'm kind of sick of legacy ban conversations just because they've been not so long. If the meta is going to stay like this for too long, I'm going to want changes. I personally think it's Arcanist's fault that Rug is so dominant. Delver is so dominant. Delver's pushing out every other fair deck. I really fucking hate Dreadhorde. Hated it ever since it was printed. So I hope. I think they're gonna ban Oko, which is fine with me. Like, Oko also kind of sucks, but I do think the ultimate culprit will be Daze, but I don't think they'll ban Daze. Or changed in the past week to make the meta more combo Oko heavy. So it's like the challenge results and stuff like in the showcase, like just so much fucking Delver. Like I played against half Delver out of 8 rounds, and I know some people played 6 out of 8 Delver. Just things have optimized, and usually optimization makes Delver tier 0 over time. It's just inevitable whenever Delver has a whenever Delver has a card advantage engine, it ruins them, inevitably. What decks trash Delver? I like to think this build of Goblins trashes Delver most of the time, but I split 2 and 2 against Delver. My record against Rug is like 80% though, so like that's variance. And as I showed in my recap, I could have won sideboarding a little bit differently. I just was maladjusted. There are not many decks that trash Delver categorically, though. The decks that used to aren't good anymore. Black Splash Maverick deck is really good against Delver right now. That's fair, but can you beat the combo deck? That's the thing. It's like any deck that's too hedged against Delver gets crushed by the other half of the meta, I feel like. And that's kind of that's the spot that at least Goblins has a lot more game against combo than it used to. Lackey can race some combo decks. We're way better against Sneak and Show than we used to be. Mindbreak Trap, people just can walk into it all the time. Four Thoughts, he's surgical, right? But, I mean, I still will lose to Turbo Depths most of the time. I'll still lose to Reanimator most of the time. Doomsday, I feel like Goblin's okay against Doomsday. Yeah, so that's the thing. I was like, yeah, I think that's correct for people cheap. It's like people played or people were playing Snoko, and then they were getting crushed by all the combo decks. They're like, I'm just gonna play Delver. Delver's better against combo, kind of play to mid-range control garbage, just trying to eke out advantage. Shouldn't Dredge be good right now? I don't think Dredge is good. Dredge gets hit. I mean, Uro made Dredge a lot worse in its control matchups. Now control can just pop Bridge from below pretty consistently. And people are playing a lot of Containment Priests. I think a lot of Priests. Like the fact of the matter is like the Delver shell is so strong that it can fix any particular matchup just by like changing sideboard cards if it really wants to. Like I don't think there are any decks that Delver couldn't become favorable against. Good. Will win always versus control. I play Dread. I mean, Snoko was a very dominant deck for like 2 months, and Dredge did not perform. So I'm just gonna assume that your experience does not mirror necessarily the average of yeah. I think they should ban Arcanist. Oko, the meta, the gameplay would be better off without it, so I could see that going too. But I think the ultimate culprit to Delver inevitably taking over every single legacy format, since it was outside of busted combo, since like Breach, is Daze. Gobs used to play Thalia. Any merit. Playing 3 colors, not really doable without compromising the mana denial. And mana denial is one of your best things in concert with Thalia, and it's one of your best things to steal game ones against combo. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to splash to double splash. It's pretty rough. Also, Thalia's not even good. Thalia's just not a... That's not even a very good magic card anymore. Sorry, Death and Taxes players, but Thalia. Like, if I was gonna splash white, I'd splash white for Deafening Silence. Like, that's a card. Deafening Silence is harder to cast, so you have to play even more white swords. So yeah, okay. Let's see who else is streaming. Maverick's just looking like a totally different beast. Oh, Tom's playing with Jonathan and Sukanik. Alright, you're gonna send you guys over to Tom, Gator. Yeah. They're working on their cyber guide. That's cool. You'll definitely get some very in-depth insights into depths by listening to Tom, Jonathan. So, catch y'all next time. Appreciate y'all watching. See you around.